everybody, and welcome to the Port Royal Candidates Forum hosted by the Beaufort Regional Chamber of Commerce. We are pleased to continue the tradition of hosting events such as these. Chamber is well known for hosting candidates forums for all elected positions in and around our region. So we are thrilled to be able to bring this forum for you tonight to introduce you to the 4 candidates who are running for the open seats in the town of Port Royal. Thanks for being here.
Jennifer, thanks for kicking us off. I'm Ian Scott, President and CEO of the Chamber, and I am really happy to be with you all this evening. We do have our Port Royal Candidates Forum tonight. We're happy to have all 4 candidates standing for 2 open seats with us tonight. The purpose of our forum for everybody who's watching online or on recording is to introduce you voters to these candidates and to hear from them about their perspectives on what makes the community tick. We're going to run for an hour, 6 till 7. This will be a panel question format. So we have panelists selected by the chamber from the chamber membership by the chamber board to ask these questions. Each candidate will have a chance to answer each question in turn. We ask that candidates not speak to each other or address each other. This is not a debate, it's an issues forum. We do have some time allowed for rebuttals if there are any from each candidate. All questions will come from the panel. We do have an opportunity toward the end for some audience questions. Please use the Q&A function to submit a question via text. If you'd like to submit one, all questions were determined by the panel this very afternoon. So they have not been shared with any of the campaigns or any of the candidates. We literally just wrapped up drafting these questions moments ago. I will serve as a moderator for tonight and we'll keep time. We've asked the candidates to keep their responses relatively brief so we can get through a couple of different topics. I'm happy to introduce our panelists. They are Shannon Gonzalez, who's an entrepreneur and owner of Toot Sweet Macaroons, located on Rebo Road in Port Royal. Also a panelist tonight, Andy Johnson. He's the CEO of Stoneworks, which recently relocated and expanded their operations along Highway 278, also in Port Royal. So we have 2 Port Royal business owners who will be asking the questions tonight. Each candidate is going to have time for an opening and closing statements. We chose the order of those. We selected a name at random to begin, and then we'll proceed in alphabetical order, and we'll use that same order as we go through tonight. So we're ready to get started, and we'll begin with opening statements. And our first opening statement comes from incumbent council member Mary Beth Heyward.
Thank you. I appreciate it. First, I would like to thank Ian and the Chamber for hosting this event and those on Zoom tonight listening to this forum. My name is Mary Beth Gray Heyward, and I am running for re-election of Port Royal Town Council. I'm a mother, a grandmother, and a great-grandmother. I have 1 daughter, 3 grandsons, and as of last night, a great-grandson. I have been in Port Royal for over 56 years. I attended Port Royal Elementary. I attended Beaufort High and the Technical College of the Lowcountry. I did move on, and I have been in the medical field here in Beaufort for over 35 years, serving as a paramedic for Beaufort County, manager of both customer service and pre-arrivals at Beaufort Memorial Hospital, where I have retired in the end of June. I currently serve on the Lowcountry Council of Governments Board for Port Royal. I serve on the One Blood Alliance, volunteer for Help of Beaufort once a week, and in the past served in many capacities throughout the tenure of my Port Royal Council. I have been a great and vocal advocate for the citizens of Port Royal community for 29 years and will continue to work for the citizens of Port Royal when elected. It has been my pleasure to serve the citizens of Port Royal. I can think of no greater satisfaction than I have received from supporting the teams of our community, the citizens of our community. It would be an honor to continue to serve this community in the capacity of Town Council for Port Royal. Thank you.
Great, Heyward, thank you so much. Next up for opening statements, Mr. Gugino.
Yes. Again, I would also like to thank you guys all for being here and putting this on for us. It's very nice. I'm just a father. I'm just a Port Royal guy. You know, I'm not from here. I'm from Virginia. I moved down here and I fell in love with the area. I fell in love with the people. It's a great place to raise a family. I want to continue that. You know, I want to continue to have, you know, things for the children and families to do here. You know, I think it's really important that, you know, we try to bring as many businesses that we can into the area, instead of giving, you know, all that revenue to, you know, Beaufort or the county or, you know, Bluffton. You know, we try to keep it here in Port Royal, keep it local, stay local. I got my associate's degree from Midlands Technical College in Columbia in network systems management. I also have a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity that I got from Utica Online. It's a college in New York. I've been working in the IT industry for the past decade. I've also worked at the hospital. I was a corpsman for 5 years in the Navy, so I understand a lot of the medical stuff as well. And you know, I'm just happy to be here, and you know, look forward to answering any questions that you guys may have tonight. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Next up is John Hazel.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you to all the members of the chamber for putting this on for us tonight. Thank you for everybody tuning in online and showing an interest in your town. My name is John Hazel, and I am running for the town of Port Royal Council. I'm a family man. I've been married to my wife, Jessie, for 13 and a half years. And together we have a 12-year-old daughter, Peyton Hazel, who attends Holy Trinity Classical Christian School. I'm a small business owner. Together with my wife, we own Devil Dog headquarters in the Shell Point Shopping Center right there outside of Paris Island. If elected, not only do I want to represent the citizens of the village of Port Royal, but also the new neighborhoods in Port Royal. I'm a passionate public service professional and a U.S. Marine Corps veteran of 23 years of honorable service, teaching young men and women to be Marines and officers in the Marine Corps. I've trained them at Paris Island, Officer Candidate School, and the University of Arizona. I also served as a truck driver, a dispatcher, a licensing official, and a motor transport chief for 13 of my 23-year career. I've coordinated multinational public service operations, including Middle Eastern countries, multiple countries in the Mediterranean, Japan, and the Philippines. I've also served as a senior enlisted advisor, overseeing no less than 130 Marines at any given time. Currently I serve as the chairman of the Parks and Rec Commission. I'm also a volunteer with the Beaufort Water Festival, and I'm a graduate of the Leadership Beaufort class of 2021.
John, thank you. And to close out our opening statements, Councilmember Owens.
Thank you, Ian, and thank you, Council Chamber, for allowing us this opportunity to reach out to our constituents. I'm Darryl Owens. I've been serving on Port Royal Council for the past 4.5 years. I am a native of Beaufort. I spent the majority of my professional career in public service, from Beaufort County Schools to Jasper County School District. And now I currently work for a nonprofit organization. I am married. I have 3 wonderful children, 2 boys, and a daughter who's a senior at Beaufort High School. I love what I do. I love serving the community and the public. I've served in various capacities within the town of Port Royal, from the zoning boards of appeals to the design and review board, Metropolitan Planning Commission. And I was fortunate enough to have captured this seat 4.5 years ago due to the demise of one of our council member. So I would like to continue to be that voice and that advocate for everyone in Port Royal. You know, I'm a supporter of the small town community. I shared with people when I moved into Port Royal 25 years ago, my neighbors welcomed me with open arms, you know, cookies and pies, and said, welcome to the neighborhood. You know, I enjoy walking down the streets and, of course, greeting our neighbors, you know, on feet in a pedestrian friendly neighborhood or on the golf carts and so forth, where your neighbors know each other and look out for each other. We want to preserve and protect that integrity. I support development in the town of Port Royal and business growth. However, we want to maintain that small town culture that we have in Port Royal. We don't want to open Port Royal up to be the corridor, the freeway for the speeders and so forth that jeopardizes the safety and welfare of our residents in Port Royal. So if you would allow me to continue my service, to be that advocate, that voice for you, a voice for children, I would be honored. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. So we're going to pivot from the opening comments into questions from our two panelists. To get us started, Andy Johnson with Stoneworks.
Thank you, Ian. Candidates, the Department of Defense is the region's largest employer and biggest economic driver. Parris Island alone directly employs more than 2,200 people with a total economic impact of nearly $750 million. As an elected leader, what would you do to ensure our region's military installations have the support they need to execute their missions?
And we're going to start this one with Eddie, and then it'll be John, Darryl, and then Mary Beth.
Yeah, so I would just continue to work with the leadership there, and make sure that, they understand that they are valued members of the community. I mean, most of Port Royal, like I said, is, Parris Island, you know what I mean? And also in the big area is the Marine Corps, the air station. So, I mean, those are very important things to our area. They bring a lot of outside money inside to the area. And I think maintaining that relationship is important. I know there was some talk of closure of the base, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So, that would be important to continue that relationship.
All right, John.
So having been a Marine, like I said, for 23 years and having retired from Parris Island, I have a very good relationship with the commands on Parris Island. And through the Water Festival and Leadership Beaufort, I have a good connection with the CO of the air station. So like it's been said, communication between the town and the Department of Defense and those in charge on Parris Island and the air station, the communication definitely needs to be there. And having come from that background, I think I know what they need, and I am better suited to help them with what they need, as long as it's mutually beneficial for both the town and for the military. We definitely are a Marine Corps town. Parris Island is inside of Port Royal, so I'm going to do what I can, if elected to the town council, to ensure that the relationship between the town council and the Marine Corps stays intact, and that the Marine Corps stays in Port Royal.
Thank you. Darryl.
I am a dependent of a Marine. My father is a Marine, a retired Marine, so I am a military dependent. I chose not to join the Marine Corps, but I support the military in Beaufort. We're fortunate to have 3 major military installations in Beaufort, 2 of which are housed in Port Royal. That's the U.S. Naval Hospital and also Parris Island. I think we as a town need to, and residents also need to continue to have dialogue and lobby and ask, stay in the areas of, or the faces of our legislators to solicit their support in continuation of for fighting for the continuation of Parris Island, and also the U.S. Naval Hospital, which is very rare in South Carolina to have the U.S. Naval Hospital. The Parris Island, of course, brings in thousands of tourists on a weekly basis, and a lot of revenues. And so certainly there are assets to Port Royal, and I think that we need to continue to rally support from our legislators and also keep an open dialogue with the Department of Defense as well.
Thank you. And Mary Beth.
All righty. So Town of Port Royal has always been active in working with our commanding officers at the Naval Hospital and at Parris Island and the air station, mainly Parris Island and a Naval Hospital because they're within our boundaries. But we also joined in with the chamber, and then we had a military enhancement group that went to Columbia, went to Washington to try to fight to maintain our bases here. We love the military being here. I think that the military brings a lot to us. It does bring a lot of military families here. People come to see their recruits graduate. They stay in our hotels, they buy souvenirs. And I think it's a wonderful thing. And I think we should continue to work with the Department of Defense, Naval Hospital, and Parris Island as we have in the past. This is nothing new to the town of Port Royal. We've been doing it for years. And I think we need to continue because they play a big part of Port Royal. Thank you.
Well, we opened with a something of a softball, at least it should be in our community. I would think anybody who's not a supporter of the military should be immediately disqualified. So we'll move on. Shannon has the next question.
Good evening. So as we just discussed, we hold 2 of the Tri-Commit installations in Port Royal, both of those being large with military housing locations. How can we encourage those spouses who are interested in starting a home-based business, considering that they're very transient in nature and have limited face-to-face action in the town? So how can the town better support aspiring new business owners?
And John, you get the first crack at this one.
Thank you, Ian, and thank you, Shannon, for that question. I think it's very important that we support our dependents in their endeavors. Being an entrepreneur and a small business owner, that is one of my goals, is to help those, whether they're dependents of the military or they're Port Royal residents with no connection to the military. My goal is to help them in any way. It was a really interesting learning curve for me when my wife and I went to establish our LLC and our business. So I know a lot of the pitfalls to be careful of. Also, I think we should help with advertising with the chamber, so that the chamber can help out as well. And maybe we can put together some small seminars for the dependents, working with the DoD to help them with their small businesses out of their home.
Great, thank you. Darryl.
Yes, I believe that we ought to continue. First of all, effective marketing is the key to everything. And I think also by just showing the military that we support them, we are happy to have them in our communities, and to afford the dependents those opportunities of establishing businesses within the area of Port Royal. Perhaps the town looking into some type of incentives to have them open a business or establish a business in Port Royal that will generate revenues and also be effective for them and for their livelihood as well. So we need to continue to show the military that we do support them, and not only support them, we support their families as well, particularly to those that have interest in becoming business owners in the areas of Port Royal.
All right, thank you. Mary Beth.
Yes, and I would like to say the same. New business owners in town, sometimes it's difficult, and especially with the military where you're having to travel from here to there. We want to promote you. I think the most important thing is marketing. If we can help you in any way market your business, we try to do that for our town. We need the chamber to support us in marketing for the new business owners. I think it's a great thing for a spouse that has a military family. You can take that business and pick it up and go to the next location. So the more we can help you and get you in a position where you feel like, oh my gosh, I've done this in Port Royal, now we're moving to Iowa, we need to continue it. So what we can do is help build that business and make some different suggestions to try to help you, because it's very important that you get to have your career as your spouse has their career. And so anything that the town could do to benefit any of the spouses for the military, please come to the town, come talk to us. Let us try to help you in any way. We want you to be a success. Your husbands are supporting you, or wives, whoever has the business, but give us the opportunity to work with you. And so when you leave here in 4 years, or maybe not, maybe you decide that you love this town and you want to stay. If not, you would know what you needed to go to the next town to continue your business or open a second business. Thank you.
All right, and Eddie, you have the last word.
Yeah, my biggest thing is how do we also keep those businesses that start here? And I think one of the things with that is just making it easier for those businesses to get started in the first place. So finding a way, however we can do that by, maybe incentivizing the residents, with some kind of incentive to also create their own business here that's also located in Port Royal, I think could be a big thing. And for the most part, find ways that the government get out of your way. Right. We don't, we don't want to muck things up. We want to make it so that you're able to get stood up your business quickly, without hassle, without a bunch of red tape. And the ways that we can do that, and I think that's the best way to, start businesses. And that's my belief with government, is to move out of the way and let people make the decisions.
All right. The next question comes from Andy.
Thank you, Ian. So with my first question, I mentioned how significant the military is in our local economy with the employment and the economic impact. Beyond the military, hospitality and real estate are the drivers here in this region. Do you believe that it's important that we have additional sectors in our economy? And if so, what would you do to help develop a diversified economy here in Port Royal?
First answer goes to Darryl.
Well, yes, Beaufort County prides itself in resort and tourism. However, also the largest employer in most counties or districts or states is the education department, school districts. That's the largest employer. We have a lot of teachers that commutes from Georgia and across the lines also. And also they're looking for affordable housing and so forth. So certainly I think, in those areas, it would be advantageous for Port Royal to explore the possibilities of offering obtainable housing for its residents so that they can relocate into the area. And that will draw businesses, that will draw more residents also that are coming in to work in the school system, and also making it affordable for those people that are working in the areas of hospitality, resort, and tourism. So again, Port Royal needs to consider and continue to explore options of attracting people of various backgrounds and income level. Beaufort County has become the area, of course, because of the south of the Broad, and a lot of housing, affordable housing that they reference, and affordable to you may not be affordable to me, but I think I like the term that everyone's using now is obtainable, ensuring that it is obtainable to live and reside in Port Royal.
A good topic. We're going to get to a little bit more depth as we move forward. Thank you, Darryl. Mary Beth.
Yes, I believe that, we have been working for some time on affordable housing. We want people to live and work in the same community. And I think a lot of this hurts the local businesses by not having a place for people to live. They have to travel to Hilton Head or wherever. And I think getting affordable housing to Beaufort County is very important to the business community, the real estate community. We have got to do something that keeps people from having to travel. The education that we have here for their children. We want people that work in Beaufort County or Hilton Head in Jasper County. We want them to live here. We need them to be a part of the community that they work and live in. Thank you.
All right. And again, the question is about economic diversification. Eddie, you're up.
Yeah, economic diversification. Again, back to, I think it's the government's role to just get out of the way. We should be trying to incentivize business to come here, multi-sector, different sectors, what have you, by showing how easy it is to set up a business here, and that our, residents would enjoy having. When we bring the jobs in, that will handle a lot of the housing, I think, as well. I don't really agree with affordable housing as far as that goes. I don't think the rest of the Port Royal residents should have to, pay into something like that to create those programs. I believe in a free market. The less the government puts their thumb on the scale, the better, the greater it is for everyone. So really the idea is, like I said, find ways to move out of the way so that these businesses can get set up and get rolling.
Okay, John, you're the last one on this one.
Thank you, Andy, for that question. You know, the age-old adage comes to mind: don't put all your eggs in one basket. When Corona hit this town, we found out how much we really depended on hospitality and the military, and I think it was a wake-up call for us. I absolutely think we need to diversify the forms of businesses that we rely on in this town. I think what we really should be doing is focusing on education. If for some reason, I've seen it happening over the years when I was here in 05 to 08, and then when I came back in 2017, I've seen the Navy chipping away at the Naval Hospital. If for some reason that the Naval Hospital does in fact go away, I think we could turn that into some sort of another college, whether it be marine biology college or another facility for medical. I think we need to have more education there, and I think we need to find a way to bring more medical workers here. My wife was just in the hospital yesterday having surgery, and they're short-staffed on nurses. We have plenty of nurses coming out of USCB and the technical college, but then they're finding jobs in other cities and other states. We need to find ways to keep those medical personnel here. And I think we also need to get more outlets for kids here in Port Royal. If we have, as a family man, I'm going to be more drawn to a town that has more stuff for my kid to do, so my kid's not just sitting at home vegging out on the TV or playing on their phones all day. So we need to have more outlets for kids here in the town, and I think that'll make Port Royal more attractive to those families, which will bring in more workers and more entrepreneurs so we can diversify our businesses. Thank you.
All right. Next question comes from Shannon, and Mary Beth, you'll have the first answer.
Okay.
So speaking of attracting more businesses, right now there's 51 acres of high ground poised to get redevelopment on the legacy port site. There are current plans for how it should be developed. Do you support those plans? If so, how would you work with developers to make sure that it's profitable for everyone involved?
Okay, I certainly do support the plan that they have. We actually, the citizens of Port Royal, got together years ago, and we had a charrettes, and we at that time decided as a town and a community, if the port property ever got released, what we wanted to do with that port property. And now that it's back in the public hands, it's zoned properly. We will do everything we can to make sure that they do it proper, because it will be the destination for Port Royal. It's going to be an economic boost to the community because they're going to be offering jobs and people that they're going to need to be down there at all times for builders, maintenance people working on the boats that are coming in. I just think that it's a great opportunity. There'll be housing, commercial areas, and I certainly do support that in the town of Port Royal. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Eddie, you're next.
Yeah, when it comes to redevelopment of the different area, again, I prefer the government stay out of such things. If it's going to be a property for sale, put it for sale. If we're going to develop it, make it so that it's easier for the businesses to get into. I had something I was going to say and I dropped it. So, but yeah, that's again, that's the basic the way I feel. The one thing I don't want to see happen, this is what it was. One thing I don't want to see it happen is see it just getting stuck in forever planning, like a lot of projects do, and spends a lot of resources on surveys and planning and this and that. I want to see it actually move forward and get done.
Okay, John, you're next.
Thank you. Well, I don't know, I'm not privy to all the plans of the redevelopment of the port. What I do know about it, I am in favor for. I think the redevelopment of the port really has the ability to be the flagship for Port Royal. There's so many opportunities. The town's gotten away from shrimp processing, but I still think we can have, some sort of history there showing how shrimp were processed through the port there. It can draw people there, and then it opens up so many avenues of different businesses that we can bring. I know we've already got the the Olympic and world team sailing teams there. We have the Beaufort Rowing Club that's hopefully will be able to move to Port Royal and change their name to the Port Royal Rowing Club. There's already people that see the redevelopment as a good thing and want to come and settle there. So I think the redevelopment of that port is going to be a very great thing for Port Royal. And I'm going to do whatever I can to help support that, if indeed that's what the majority of the residents want for Port Royal.
Okay, and Darryl.
I do support the redevelopment of the Port Royal properties. Also, I am very pleased with the plans that have been presented. They will have a combination of mixed use of the area, and I support, of course, smart growth and smart development. We cannot dictate to property owners as to what they can do on their properties, as long as they comply with the zoning, the current zonings and ordinance that are in place. However, we can definitely guide them through the process and to ensure that, that the sentiments of the community is implemented in their plans, such as the public spaces and promenades and the mixed uses such as retail and social areas and so forth that will complement the community.
Okay, great. So a lot of unanimity there. It certainly is a opportunity to make a real mark and open up the waterfront access to the community and stimulate the economic opportunity. Next up, Andy, to go back to the question we've raised earlier about housing.
Yes, thank you, Ian. So my last question about economic diversification, several of you talked about affordable housing. So that's actually my next question, but a couple of statistics. In 2018, there was a study done by the county that said 18% of our county residents can afford to pay only $500 a month in rent, while only 6.3% of the rental housing market is listed for $500 below. That same misalignment exists in the value of homes for sale. So going back to that topic, do you believe that affordable housing is a problem the town can help address? And if so, tell us how specifically you think the town can help address that.
And first up is Eddie.
Yeah, again, it's going to be about bringing in those jobs. You get those jobs, you get higher paid jobs. You have those in here that's going to take care of a lot of that housing issue. People are going to move closer to work, right? That's what's going to happen. People are going to, look for places in the area. If they have jobs here, they don't have jobs here. They're in the lower service industry, and those aren't the type of jobs that we really want in the first place. So as far as, again, with affordable housing, I don't really think that it should be a burden of the rest of the town to, incentivize the affordable housing.
Okay, next up, John.
I like the way Darryl put it. We're not looking at affordable housing. We're looking at attainable housing. I think that was a really great comment that he had made earlier. And that's what we need to be striving for. Attainable housing. And we've all seen it over the last year and a half, 2 years. The skyrocket in prices of building materials. Hopefully in the near future, that'll come down and that'll help offset the price of some of these houses. I think I am in support of attainable housing. And I think one way to get that is if we can get a couple bigger businesses to come to Port Royal and get more people working in there, that will help offset the wage gap.
Okay, Darryl.
Yes, I believe that this can be accomplished by supply and demand. The more business that we attract, the more local employment or individuals that we will employ. And once you have that demand on supply and demand, then hopefully additional or increased wages will come where people are able to afford to live in Port Royal. There's a misconception about affordable housing. Everyone that's on affordable housing is not receiving government assistance. As John and I alluded to earlier, it's obtainable. What's affordable to you may not be affordable to me. So it's obtainable. Can they obtain that structure to live or in this area? And you can accomplish that by supply and demand, by attracting the right businesses, employing locals. And then when you have that, when everyone's working gainfully employed, hopefully their employers will have competitive wages also, where those individuals can obtain the housing that's necessary to remain in the community.
And last word on this goes to Mary Beth.
Thank you. I would say affordable housing or obtainable housing. I think that, I support it 100%. I think that we, not only as Port Royal as a town, but as Beaufort County, the county and the state, and we all need as a region work together for affordable housing, because it is obtainable. And like some of the people have said earlier, Darryl, John, obtainable to one might not be obtainable to other. And I think right now, lumber prices are extremely high. People can't build. I think that, we need to have more businesses to attract people to pay a decent salary so that these people could obtain or afford housing. But I think the main thing is that we have to work together with the county and the region to make sure that this happens. If we have to, get together and see where we can find land to build something that's affordable to the people that live in our community. And I go back to what I said earlier, to work and live in a community. I think it's important. People are more apt to be a part of something if they can live and work in that same community instead of having to communicate or communicate. Thank you.
All right, certainly a topic I hear readily from the business community, making sure that they can find a place for folks to live. Glad to hear focus on supply and demand there. Next question comes from Shannon.
So on the topic of housing, there has been a number of short-term rentals available in Port Royal, and that's grown over the recent years. Do you believe that there should be additional oversight or restriction on those short-term rentals?
And the first question, first response goes to John.
All right, so currently this is a hot topic item, not just in Port Royal. I have friends that live in Burton, and this is an issue out there in Habersham. I'm in favor of short-term rentals. I've driven around, and I'll be honest with you, short-term rental owners take really good care of their homes, because that is their source of income. So I'm okay with short-term rentals so long as they're owned by local people that live in Port Royal, or the only offset to that would be somebody that's getting ready to retire in the next year or two, and their dream house has become available, and they buy it and short-term rent it while they're still finishing up their career in another state, but their goal is to move here. So I'm in favor of short-term rentals. Unfortunately, not everybody does the right thing. As a business owner, I fill out my forms, I bring them to the town hall, and they tell me, hey, this is what you owe based on your sales for the year. Not everybody's honest when it comes to short-term rentals. So unfortunately, because there's people not doing the right thing, I do think there needs to be oversight. But at the same time, Port Royal has partnered with a web design firm to utilize a platform to track all the short-term rentals in Port Royal. But there is a lot of personal and private information on there that not everybody needs to be privy to. So I think we either need to cut back on the amount of information that's available, or limit who is able to see the information that is being tracked at that time. Thank you.
All right, Darryl.
Yes, as John alluded to also, neither a short-term rental is not only a hot topic in Beaufort or our surrounding area, but it's all over. I attended the Municipal Association of South Carolina, and that was a hot topic there also for a lot of municipalities and towns. I think proper oversight and regulations to ensure that these property owners are, paying their fair, they're registered, that these places are safe. Of course, you know, they are, I have taken a tour. They do take pride in their property, so I give that to them. With Port Royal being a military town and every hotel being filled on the weekends, I think that's a good option for families to come together and share with each other without having to stay in a hotel. However, again, I think it's very important. The town has just recently purchased a software that will be utilized to oversee and have all of these properties registered properly, so that we ensure that they are paying their that they're registered, and also that we're receiving the town's portion of what is owed to the town for operating that business in the town.
All right, Mary Beth.
All right, yes, I'm in favor of short-term rental also. I have fought for the short-term rentals, and like some in the past have said, they do take very good care of their properties. It is a form of a business. The town has been very involved in short-term rentals, and we have an ordinance in the town of Port Royal that if a person doesn't meet, if somebody comes and they say somebody hears them next door, they're having arguments or they're constantly having some fussing and fighting or whatever they may. We have an ordinance, you call the police comes there. They come when they investigate it. If they're found guilty, they're on a point system. So they lose that point, and then they could possibly lose their license. The town hasn't had everybody being honest like it has that it should be. So we did invest in a software that we could track that. I don't believe that all that information should be brought out to the public. It shouldn't be who pays this or who pays that. I think it's an accountability piece that the town needed to be assured that people are all paying. It's not fair for one to pay and the other not, but it is a great place. We support our military, and I think it helps when you have 2 or 3 kids or a mom and grandparents and you want to come and see your son or daughter graduate. It's a place where they can all be together. And I think it's important to continue the short-term rentals in Port Royal.
All right, and Eddie.
Yeah, I'm going to probably piggyback on a lot what's been said here. You know, I'm definitely in favor of it. You know, as John alluded to, they're safe. If you ever gone to any of them, you know, they keep them very well up to date. They're great for the local businesses down here, and it's great for the like the families that come in, because, you know, those hotels, we don't have a lot of them. They fill up. And, you know, some families, you know, you get some larger families in there, you know, it's just, you know, it makes more sense for them to, you know, rent a whole, you know, short-term home, you know what I mean? And so, and it kind of drives the family atmosphere that you get to feel down here in the Port Royal area. And I think that's very important. As far as regulation and oversight, I don't really support regulation and oversight in that aspects. I think we're better off enforcing the laws that we already have on the books than trying to create new ones in addition. Like I said, free market competition is what creates such things to come around. I do support kind of what John was saying there. I do think it should be important for people of Port Royal. We don't want to have a bunch of outside people buying homes down here and things like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is their if they buy the property, it's, you know, their right to do with what they please. And I think that's important too, is respecting the property owner and their ability to do what they decide with their property as well.
All right, we are getting toward the home stretch here. We've got a couple more prepared questions. I'll remind anybody who's watching us live, you can use the Q&A function to submit a question. If we have time before we hit the hour, we will try to get to your questions. So candidates, let's try to keep these last couple of answers as brief as possible. Next question comes from Andy.
Thank you, Ian. Many people who move to the area do so because of the quality of life. What is the most pressing quality of life issue for you, and why?
Darryl, you're first.
The most pressing issue with quality of life, obtainable. That's the most pressing. Also, can we afford to live in Port Royal? Can we afford to live in Beaufort? Having options, resources, places for our children, you know, where and our children will enjoy going to. where you can bring and raise a family here, and also wherein when a child grows up that they want to come back to our area because it affords them opportunities. That's one of the, I think, as you said, one of the biggest challenges also obtainability to or affordability to stay or live in the area.
All right, Mary Beth.
All right, quality of life. I think that people enjoy Port Royal because Port Royal has a lot to offer. You know, we are considered a walking community. We ride golf carts in our community. We do a lot of things for people, and that's why people want to come live here. We do, once a couple of times a year, we do a series of music. We close off the street and we have the street music. People can come and dance and enjoy and really communicate with each other. I think that's important in bringing our community together. And I think the quality of life by, you know, let's don't be a bad neighbor. Let's get out and understand we have a walking community. We have the cypress wetlands. We have things for our children. We have the skateboard park in Port Royal, which has been a big asset to the Port Royal area. We have the market. I think that the farmers market, I think those are things. We hold festivals and different things so that we can bring our community together. Affordable housing would be great because we would love for people to have a place to live and be able to enjoy all that, like the people that live here. That's about all I can say. I love Port Royal, and I think the quality of life here is wonderful.
Eddie.
Port Royal is a great place to be, and that's why I've chosen it to be my home. And I, you know, like everyone else here has, we love it here. I do wish there was more things for the children. There are a lot of stuff that we do as far as festivals and the farmers market and things like that. I do enjoy. One of the biggest things I think the quality of life thing is maintaining that. Okay, maintaining the ability to be able to do these things and being able to maintain your business and keep them open and things like that. I know when the coronavirus first happened, a lot of people, you know, the government felt the need to be able to tell them what they couldn't do. I want to make sure that we don't have that happen again. I think it's right for the individual to make those choices for them and their business and their family. And, you know, I think that's what also brings a lot of people to South Carolina in general is, you know, we do honor those things. And I like to see that continue in this town moving forward.
All right, and John.
So Port Royal does quite a bit to entertain the folks that, like it was already alluded to by a couple of the other candidates. You know, we have the street music. We just had the food truck festival. We've got a lot of festivals going on. We have plenty of parks in Port Royal. And being on the Parks and Rec Commission, I can tell you what we're trying to do right now is improve the Naval Heritage Park, trying to get an outdoor gym facility out there. We had a local church donate time and their effort to refurbish the skate park out there. So we're really trying to do a lot more to bring people out of their houses, you know, and come together as a community and have a good time. But what I would like to see to help benefit the quality of life is get some more businesses here that can pay a higher wage to their employees. And I think that'll help increase the quality of life for people, they'll be able to afford a bigger house or a better house than what they're currently in. They'll be able to pay rent for a better apartment than what they're living in now. So I think that if we can get some bigger businesses in here that are willing to pay a higher wage and create competition between the businesses for that wage, I think that'll definitely help increase the quality of life.
You're never going to catch the Chamber of Commerce advocating against growing the business community. Our final prepared question we have this evening comes from Shannon.
So on the topic of community and quality of life, do you view development in Beaufort or other parts of our county as complementary or competition to the vibrancy of Port Royal?
And Mary Beth, you're first on this.
Oh, well, I think it's a compliment because some of the county, when the industrial park area have place for larger businesses. We in Port Royal are working for with the redevelopment, which we're reestablishing, to put smaller businesses along Paris Avenue. I am so sorry, y'all, I'm still on baby mode. But to build more businesses on Revolt Road from bridge to bridge, there's areas there that we need to have some development there, but we need businesses so people can ride their bikes or walk to like a store or a coffee shop or, a donut shop or a little grocery store, so they don't have to get in the car and go out. So yes, I think we could complement each other by working together to make that happen.
Okay, Eddie.
Yeah, it's like anything, it's, a mix of both, there's a little bit of competition there and there's a little bit of, we can help each other, needs that they may need, we may be able to satisfy over here in Port Royal. We're all really close connected to one another. So, it's just a short drive down the road, right? And the other thing is also trying to bring the businesses here to choose here instead of over there. So I think just continuing to, again, move out of the way and allow the business owners to come in and really fulfill those needs I think it's the best thing.
John?
I too think it's a little bit of both competition and complementary. South of the Broad is growing faster than north of the Broad. So that's where the competition comes into play, friendly competition. Where the complementary part comes into is north of the Broad. If we can get more businesses inside of Port Royal and have attainable housing inside Port Royal, inside the city of Beaufort and the other surrounding areas, I think that would help complement all of us north of the Broad so that we can thrive.
And Darryl?
I don't see it as actually competition, but I see everyone, of course, wanting to attract and draw more businesses also because it creates that, it brings in that revenue to their town and their areas. However, I see the growth and development in Beaufort County complementing Port Royal also, because as those areas continue to grow and spiral out, then people are going to look for that quiet, quaint town to come to get away from all that, the hustle and bustles and so forth. So I think it does complement our areas by that. You can look at it as being competition or competitive because everyone wants to attract more businesses, more opportunities, more revenues. Yes, I think that's what drives the economy. But again, as I said, without being redundant, it does complement Port Royal because if we maintain our friendly culture, then of course people will want to come away. You see that every Saturday morning with people from all surrounding areas coming to the farmers market. They're coming here because of the small quietness of the town and what we have to offer, and they love that.
All right, we did get a couple of questions in via chat. We're running short on time. We might take just a real quick 10-second answer. There was a question in about the farmers market, and since we brought it up, access to more businesses there, good thing. How can we open it up? Thoughts?
Is this anyone?
Anyone?
One thing that we pride ourselves for the farmers market in Port Royal, and there have been a few people that wanted to come in, but everything that is sold in the farmers market here is locally grown or made by hand. And I think that's one of the beauties of our farmers market. We don't want to turn it into a flea market, but again, a farmers market. We don't want folks going out of the country and bringing produce here. When we have farmers, local farmers right here that gets to display and sell their products right here. We have local establishment that prepares their food products right here. They cook it right there on site. And so that's one of the beauties of what we have here at our farmers market versus other areas. Yes, open it up to those people that will comply with those expectations. If you grow it in your yard, if you grow it here, a local farmer, then afford them that opportunity. But again, we don't want to turn it into a flea market.
And I agree.
I couldn't agree more. It's a farmer's market. It's got to be locally grown, locally sourced. it has to benefit the town of Port Royal. It has to complement the town of Port Royal. We can't bring things in and allow people to sell things that are not going to promote what the culture of Port Royal is. And it has to abide by certain health restrictions, but it all should definitely be locally grown and locally sourced.
Mary Beth?
Yes, and I do agree with the other two candidates with that. I think we're trying to promote and help small businesses. And, we said earlier when you were asking how could we help and what could we do? Well, you know what? They're a small business too. Those are home businesses. They bake their goods at home. They make or plant their flowers and they grow them and they come and bring them to the market to sell. So we're trying to help boost the economy by having this. We don't want something that somebody bought that wants to try to sell it. We want the homemade or home design stuff that somebody has put some effort into, and it's not just a store bought. I think were asked earlier, and I truly, truly believe the farmers market is a great asset to the town of Port Royal. It brings in people from all over. And I think that I don't know of anybody else that has one like ours.
Eddie, anything to add?
Yeah, sure. I do agree with the farmers market. I think it's a great thing. I do prefer the things be local. Nothing's worse than you go to a farmer's market and you're looking at the vegetables and stuff and you're like, this is from the store. You know what I mean? But being able to figure that out and vet all that stuff, is that going to happen? No, probably not. I do prefer that, like I said, like those small business and things along those lines would be there first. I think there could be some kind of something that we can encourage there with those home businesses, right? Those people that are doing things from home. Maybe we can get them help to get into the farmers market to help see their goods that they're making and see how those could be used throughout the local area as well to help spread the word and help get their product out as well. I think there's definitely would encourage that. And so, at the end of the day, yeah, I definitely would support, more local stuff in there, but I don't think that, it should stop people per se, but my preference would be local.
Okay. Thanks for everybody's thoughts on that. I am failing at my job of ending on time, but before we close and go to closing statements from each of the candidates, I'd like to just take a minute to thank our two panelists, Andy Johnson, the CEO of Stoneworks, and Shannon Gonzalez, who's proprietor and owner of Toot Sweet Macaroons. If you haven't had a chance to sample Toot Sweet Macaroons, please go buy one. Might as well go ahead and get in training for the holiday season now with those sweet treats. And if you need to upgrade your kitchen countertops, I think the folks at Stoneworks can probably help you out there too. Thank you to you both for your support of the chamber and your membership. And thanks also to the council members and the candidates standing for election. We know how difficult it is in these times to be in a position of public service. Everybody here at the chamber is grateful for your willingness to serve the public in elected office. And thank you all for answering our questions. So if you would please wrap up with let's keep it to 60 seconds if possible, closing statements, and we will go in the same order that we began with. So Mary Beth, you're up first.
All right, thank you. And please support those local businesses. Shannon, we have been into your store and, oh, Lord, I tell you, the problem is that when I get home, I want to eat every one because I want to taste them all. But I love the salted caramel though. Thank you for Mr. Johnson, also for your business and helping Port Royal grow. But first, let me just thank you again for the Chamber for hosting this wonderful event tonight to allow the citizens of Port Royal to hear the questions and answers that they may form their opinion in selecting the new candidates for Port Royal Town Council. A vote for me, Mary Beth Gray Heyward, would be a vote for a proven leader, honesty, loyalty, and reliability, and a great communicator with the community, experience that works for you. As I speak to you tonight, I just want to let you know that my only agenda is to serve the citizens of Port Royal, where your voice will always be heard and concerns will always be met, and my door will always be open. Please go to the polls on Tuesday, November the 2nd, to cast your ballot for Mayor Beth Gray Heyward. And remember, I was instrumental in building the town you love and have chosen to be a part of. I will always seek a way to help and support the citizens of our community and have enjoyed it in the past 29 years and would love to continue because I feel I've made a difference. Thank you again for hosting this and for the people that got on and listened to hear our views.
Thank you. Closing statement, Eddie, Mr. Gugino.
Yes, again, reiterate some of the stuff she said there. Thank you for putting this group together here and being able to ask us some questions so the constituents could learn more about us and the way that we think and how we would like to do things or see things done here. Again, my biggest things, just takeaways here, the government needs to get out of the way for small businesses to be able to succeed, right? Let's find ways to get that done. And also, when it comes to any kind of things, my biggest thing is freedom, you know what I mean? And so because of that, any kind of mask mandates, any kind of vaccine mandates, I will never stand for any of that, right? That should be the business of the individual and to be the business of the decision of the individual and of the business. The government has no role in that, should have no role in that at all. And so, that's one of the biggest things too, that I will make sure that I will never, ever take that vote away from the individual, the right to make that decision. And again, that's my big things there. Trying to bring things in for the families, businesses to help grow the area, and government getting out of the way and letting you do your thing. Thank you.
All right, John.
Thank you, Ian. Shannon, Andy, thank you very much for being panelists on this board and for your very thought-provoking questions. Ian and the Chamber of Commerce, thank you very much for putting this on so that we can get our message out to the public and they can get to know us and what we are capable of doing for them. If elected to the town council, here's a promise I can make you, is I'm not going to be able to make all of you happy 100% of the time. But what I can tell you is that I will be a voice for the people of Port Royal. And I will do what is in the best interest of the town. I'm going to have my thoughts about certain things, but if the residents of Port Royal voice their opinion and it's in conflict with what I believe and it's in the best interest of the town, then I'm going to go with what the people want because that's the job. I'm not here to get power. I'm not here to make a legacy for myself. I'm here to do what the people want and be their voice. In the end, no matter who gets elected, I hope whoever gets elected works as hard to deserve your vote as we did to earn your vote. Remember, a vote for John Hazel is a vote for all of Port Royal. Thank you.
And final closing statement.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Chamber. Thank you, Shannon. And thank you, Andy, for your contribution as well. I want to thank each of those that were listening, took the opportunity to tune into this presentation and those that will be listening to it later. I am only one vote. However, I am your voice. I have always maintained an open door policy. I have never refused a telephone call. I have never shunned anyone when they stopped me in the supermarket. I like that. I want to be accessible. I want to be that voice for you. There are great things on the horizon for Port Royal. I want to continue to serve you, serve your interests, and be a part of that. I want to be your voice. I want to be your advocate. And again, I want to also ensure that the decisions that I make is in the best interest of all of Port Royal. And again, thank you for this opportunity. Please go out on November 2nd and vote for Darryl Owens.
All right. Jennifer, any closing comments before we wrap?
And I don't have any. I just wanted to thank everybody for being on tonight. I'd like to thank all of the candidates. Thank you especially to our panelists who are business owners and entrepreneurs in the town of Port Royal and in our Beaufort region. Thank you to the 2 sitting councilmen for their service. We appreciate that, and we appreciate the two other candidates who are getting into the ring. So it's a bold move. We appreciate your time. And thanks to everybody who came out tonight to take a listen. Thanks to SK Signs and Designs for moderating this whole thing and doing all the technical things behind the scenes. We couldn't do it without them and other partners here in our community. Thank you so much. And Ian, any closing words from you?
Nope, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.